We're on a roll talking about habits. In this episode and the ones surrounding it in your podcast feed, I'm sharing things that have been helpful and useful to me in establishing some new habits in this year of 2024 at the time I'm recording this. And in this message, I just want to address how helpful it has been to break things down into baby micro nano steps and developing a spectrum of success and possibility in creating the habit, as opposed to getting black or white, all or nothing, pass or fail. And I have another message I recorded on this 2 years ago when my oldest was in fourth grade. It's called Need to Reset Your Goal or something like that. And just sharing how, well, you can go to that episode if you want to hear more about it. But it was around the idea of good, better, best goals. Whoever came up with that, I'm not sure. It wasn't me, but the idea of good, better, best goals and just having a spectrum, a menu, a multiple choice menu of options that all feel good and true. So it's not about BSing ourselves to be like, yeah, ooh, participation trophy, certificate of completion. It needs to actually mean something to you, whatever this nano step is. It does actually need to give you a little zap of energy and meaning, but it's on the way to what you ultimately want to be doing. So, okay, let's actually just make this more specific. Say your habit is you want to start saving more money. So, if you want to save more money and in your mind you think I can't save money until I can save $100 a month or $1,000 a month or whatever you're telling yourself, that's actually not true. And that's the point of this message, is to help you see there's a spectrum here and there's value in just developing the muscle of savings, just the practice of the savings, the habit of the savings. It could be $5 a week for now. So if you're telling yourself, I can't do it unless it's $500 a month or something like that, it's not true. So what if it was $5? What if it was $50? Find something that feels so doable, it's almost ridiculous. You're almost rolling your eyes at it. It feels silly, but the magic is in that you have no resistance to it. It's like, of course I can do that. Or maybe it's like you want to get more steps in for whatever reasons, the health benefits of walking more. And so you want to get more steps in, and you're like, well, it needs to be 10,000 steps a day or it's worthless. Or when people are like, oh, I'm not wearing my Apple Watch or my Fitbit or whatever biohacky tracky device there is, and it's like, it doesn't even matter because your body is keeping track of your steps. That's actually the real meaning and the benefit. It's fun to gamify it if that works for you and everything. That's great and valuable, and that can be a useful tool. But the bottom line benefit is that your body is taking notice of every step that you take. There's some potential benefit to every step that you take. It doesn't have to be 10,000. It could be an extra 5 minutes of walking a day or a lap around. I walk, it's so hot here. Oh my gosh, it's so hot here in Houston in May right now, and it's so muggy. So I don't want to walk outside. At this time of year, I don't, but I walk inside my house. And so if you're wanting to get more steps in, for example, it could be like, okay, well, every hour I'm going to set a timer and get up if you're walking from home or working from home and walk a loop around the living room or walk in place. You know, there's YouTube videos of walking exercises and stuff, but like you could literally walk in place even if you don't have a room where you could actually be walking around. It's like we're looking so black and white, all or nothing, that we have this picture of what the successful habit implementation looks like, and it doesn't have to be such a big honking deal. In fact, because we're making it such a big honking deal, we're not doing it at all, and we're not getting the benefits that we could be getting from the micro versions of it on our way there. So all we're doing is waking up the commitment muscle and rebuilding trust with ourselves, and we don't want to spook our inspiration. So we're going to start so tiny whiny, so small that you have absolutely no resistance. But if it feels like it's too, you'll know if it's too low if there's no resistance, but there's also no spark of energy behind it either. You're like, that's just, that's not even worth it, you know? So stretch just a little beyond that tiny bare minimum that barely hits the radar. We do want it to actually hit the radar where you get a sense of accomplishment for having done the thing, because you know that this step is on the way to the next step is on the way to the next step. So it needs to feel doable, not like you have big stories and mental drama and chatter around it. It's actually doable, but it also feels fulfilling. you'll find a sweet spot. You got to experiment with it, but please be willing to experiment with it, because whatever your habit is, again, if you haven't told me yet, I'm nosy AF and I would love to hear whatever habits you're working on creating or reestablishing or whatever. So hit the comment link in the show notes and tell me all about it. But whatever it is, you're worth the experience of rebuilding trust with yourself and just giving it a try to see if you even like it, to see if the benefits you currently imagine could be there when you actually start doing this new thing or redoing this thing. It's worth it to try and see if those benefits are what you expect them to be. They may not be, and you're like, actually, this isn't for me. I don't want to be walking. I'd rather be swimming, cycling, mountain climbing. I don't know. I don't know what you want to do, but we're not going to find out by thinking about it. We need to try some things. So if you find yourself being super extreme, this is also, a lot of people use the example of like just putting on your shoes. For me, I know I actually walk more if I have house slippers because we have like a hard tile floor. And so it might be putting on your shoes. It might be making something just a little less convenient for yourself to be a pattern interrupt. That's going to help you just take the very first step. So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to create a spectrum here. This also reminds me, I was just doing laundry before recording this, and the visual came to mind of, we went to a carnival here at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo a couple months ago, and my niece was doing this BB gun shooting game where they have a piece of paper with a blue star at the end of the alley. And so you shoot the BBs, and the goal is to completely get rid of the blue star so that there's absolutely no blue left. That's how you win. And so she did it, my brother-in-law did it, and they got so close, but no cigar, because there was still just a tiny bit of blue left. It's like you're supposed to be ripping up the whole star, and if there's any bit of blue, you lose. And I'm like, that's exactly the example of what we're wanting to avoid, because it is true. It was a literal all or nothing scenario. As opposed to, if you think of a traditional bullseye, you at least, I don't really fully understand darts, but you do get points for landing on the dartboard. It's not bullseye or bust. There are some points, consolation prizes, right? Some points for landing on the dartboard. So if that visual helps you, then take it and run with it. It's like, what's the bullseye of like, chef's kiss. We've got a winner, instant winner. And then what are the other surrounding, like the squad surrounding, that are still on the board? You're still on the board. It's still progress. It's still meaningful. You're getting information. You're rebuilding the trust with yourself. It's so worth the effort. Okay, I have so many more thoughts and things to share on what's been helpful over here. I hope that is going to serve you in some way, and just really creating a whole spectrum of things and then picking the one that, like I said, it gives you a little, "Ooh, I did it," so you can celebrate it, and it's on the way to whatever that bullseye version is, because we got to start somewhere. So let's decide where we're starting. Okay, back soon. Okay, technically that was the end of the episode, but since you're still here, one, I'd love to thank you for spending part of your day with me, and two, I'd love to ask you if you would take 30 seconds, maybe 60, to leave a rating and review in your podcast app before you tap out today. If you've already done that, it's amazing. Please send me a screenshot so I can thank you personally, and know that sharing this episode with a friend has the same magical powers, and I deeply appreciate both. Also, in case you're listening to the end to see if I ever actually introduce myself, hi! My name is Nikki Elledge Brown. I'm the host and author of Naptime Empires and this here On Her Terms podcast. You can find me around the internet at Nikki Elledge Brown in most places, but what you may appreciate most is actually over at onherterms.com. It's what I call the insider library. It's where you can get inside scoop, first listen rights, email updates every time there's a new episode, and then special insider only bonus content. It's all over in our private feed. Okay, that's a wrap for real. I'll meet you in the next episode.